Hi guys, so this is a video on how to do this. So you've got the cookie skeleton, for the investigation, but how do you do it? So question 1, how much sugar is there in cookies? Now the big hint for this is that you're going to be using the cookie data for this. So this is the cookie data. It's up there, it says mean sugar content or something like that per 100 grams. So this means that for black and gold cream wafers you have 44.7 grams of sugar per 100 grams, etc. for each of these. Now question 1 says, what is the mean sugar content per 100 grams of the cookies? Now, I think people have been a bit confused because you've thought, well, this is it here. This is it for each individual biscuit. But what is the mean sugar content for all these cookies overall? How do you find that? Well, you find the average. I think you know how to do that. You find the mean, add all the numbers up, divide by the total number of data points. Alright? So you need to show you're working for that. The second bit is the range of sugar content. So what's range? Maximum take minimum. So you use this data, do the max take the minimum. Third one is determine the IQR. What's IQR? Well, that's Q3 take Q1. Now, how do you do that? Remember how you get all those numbers on your calculator. So if you're not sure how to do that, there's lots of videos. So you can either go to this PowerPoint, all right, which will tell you on here. If you scroll down, it will tell you how to get everything on your calculator. The way you get all the data for a box and whisker plot is the same as you get for mean, mode, and median. And then also, if you're in my class, this is a video on how to do everything on the calculator. So if you go straight to that one, it's on Daymap, and it will tell you straight off how to get the mean, median, and mode, how to get scatter plots, how to draw a box plot, how to draw a histogram, all on your calculator. Alright, so IQR is just Q3 take Q1. You find that on your calculator and you do it. Then you compare this value with your range. So remember how much of the data is represented by the IQR. So if you remember, 25% is from the minimum to Q1, then 50% from Q1 to Q3, and then another 25% from Q3 to the maximum. So compare yours. If you've got a massive range and a tiny IQR, what is that saying about the spread of that middle lot of data? Think about that, and you can comment on that. Then create a frequency table. Again, if you're not sure how to create a frequency table, go to this video or some of the videos on here, how to draw a histogram. So on this slide, how to draw a histogram, they'll tell you how to draw a frequency table as well. But if you go to create a frequency table, remember you start with, you have intervals and you have frequency. So you start with a minimum, and say it's 20 grams in this case. It's 10 gram class intervals. So what's your first class interval going to be? It's going to be a range of values. It's going to be from 20 to 30, and then you go up like that. Then the frequency column will just be how many data points lie between 20 and 30. The next part is comment on the distribution of the histogram. What does the histogram show you? So comment on the distribution. That was, if you remember, and again there is a slideshow on this, types of data distribution. You have this slideshow, negatively skewed, positively skewed, symmetrical, bimodal, etc., etc. Then what does that show you? Well, it can show you where the majority of the data is clustered, and you can make a comment on that. Alright, so that's question 1. Question 2 is there a relationship between sugar content and enjoyableness of cookies? Alright, so to do this, you're going to be using the Excel sheet of data. So that's this over here. So this works by, this is all of cookie 1's data, this is all of cookie 2's, this is all of cookie 3's, this is all of cookie 4's, etc. And these numbers are aligned to the numbers on the cookie sheet. So this, from memory, is Tim Tams, and I think that is wafers. So now, if we go back to this, alright, the mean enjoyable score for the cookies with the lowest and highest sugar content. So what do? You find the cookie with the lowest and highest sugar content. Alright, so if we go in here, which is the lowest one? You can answer that one. Which one has the lowest? So say it's 4. 3 is not, but say it is. You pick the one which it is, but say it is. I don't want to tell you the answer. You're going to go over here and say, okay, cookie 3 has the highest. I'm going to calculate the mean sugar content. Now you can do this on Excel just by going equals average, click on average, click on the top line, pull it down and go enter, and it will tell you. If it comes up with, oh, you've made a typo error, do you want to change it to this? Just say yes, and it'll tell you the average. Otherwise, you can put in your calculator and do it the same way as you always do. Alright, so there's that one. No, don't want that one, this. Okay. Then you compare the values. So you're going to get different mean enjoyableness scores for the cookies, and so you can compare those two. Then for the two cookies above, so these two cookies, the one with the highest and lowest, calculate the 5-number summary for each for the enjoyableness score. So you put the data into your calculators as you do before, and you find the minimum, the maximum Q1, median, and Q3. Remember that the median is Q2, alright? So you're going to calculate the 5-number summary for each for the enjoyableness score. So if we go on here, the enjoyableness score are these ones, alright? So you put that in your calculator and you get the 5-number summary. So if you're going, how on earth do I do that? Again, it's all on here. 5-number summaries is this one. And again, it's on here. 5-number summary is on here. So you can find it through there. Alright. Then create a parallel box and whisker plot. So you can draw that by hand. Just parallel box and whisker plot means that you've got two box and whisker plots on the same plot, on the same scale. Right? So use the same scale, plot the thing on there. And then when you've drawn that, using your 25% things, so you know where the majority of the data lies, you can comment on the relationship between sugar content and the enjoyableness. So there's different parallel box and whisker plots you could draw. You could put both 5-number summaries for the enjoyableness score on there, and then comment on the different enjoyableness data and the spread according to the different sugar content. You could even put, so there's just a variety of things you could do. And you don't have to use the minimum and maximum ones, you can use different ones. Determine the IQR for each and compare. So this is again, though, in this example, if you're following this is talking about the enjoyableness scores for the minimum and maximum sugar content. So you're going to determine the IQR for each of those. So you're going to determine the IQR of, say, cookie 4s and cookie 6s. And you're going to compare them. What do they tell you? Then, and what does that show you? So think about what is that actually telling you. IQR is about the spread of what? IQR tells you the spread of the middle 50%, alright? Spread of the middle 50%. Then you're going to choose two cookies with similar sugar content. Again, using the cookie data, you're going to use to work out ones with similar sugar content. And you're going to calculate the 5-number summary for each of those. Alright, you're going to calculate the Q1, median, Q3, min and maximum for each of those. Again, on your calculator. So, say I chose, cookies 7 and 8 have similar sugar content. I don't know if they do. But then I'm going to put this in my calculator and calculate the 5-number summary, and this in my calculator and calculate the 5-number summary. And then I'm going to do what it says. I'm going to create a parallel box and whisker plot with that example. So using those 5-number summaries, I'm going to plot that on the same scale and create a parallel box and whiskers plot. And then I can again comment on the relationship between sugar content and their enjoyableness. So what would you expect? Well, if it's similar sugar content, you might expect that it's the same enjoyableness, maybe, but maybe it won't be, so you can talk about that. Again, you can determine the IQR, which is Q3 take Q1, and compare it and discuss what it shows you. Then you can determine the average for each cookie. So how are you going to do that? Well, your average enjoyableness score for each cookie, remember you're going to use Excel, so for each cookie you're going to go under here, you're going to go equals average and drag down, enter, it will tell you, so you can do it for each of those for this data. Then, plot this scatter plot, on a scatter graph against the sugar content. So that means on one axis you're going to have enjoyableness, on the other axis you're going to have sugar content. You're going to put the averages in, so if we look at a calculator, let's go somewhere where the lists are up. So you're going to put, say, the sugar data in here, and you're going to put the enjoyableness in here.
the average enjoyablenesses. So make sure you put the corresponding sugar content with the corresponding average enjoyableness score. And then you're going to plot that as a scatter plot. So again, right at the end of here, it tells you how to do a scatter plot. That's still a box plot, so somewhere along here it will start doing a scatter plot. And so you can just plot a scatter plot with that data. Then talk about, is there a relationship? So remember we talked about perfect positive correlation. Again, it's on this slideshow down here somewhere. Here. So is there a relationship? Does this exist? Is there a perfect positive, high positive, etc., etc.? And then, where are we? We're almost there. Is there a relationship? How do you know? So 10A, you're going to draw a line of best fit. You're going to draw it on your calculator and get an equation. All right. Comment on the line of best fit if there is one. So you can comment on the R squared value even. Remember, R squared value, the closer it is to 1, the closer it is to a straight line. Then talk about what assumptions you made. This is in the rubric, so please do it. You have to talk about assumptions. Alright, so it's really not that much. It gets repetitive. You can do it on your calculator. You can take screenshots of everything you've done. Alright, hope that helps, peoples. That is all.